What's going on, everyone? I'm going to start a series here that's going to help everyone, start from the very, 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 very basic beginning of things. Just to kind of reiterate, there's a lot of information in Discord, so I wanted to provide a streamlined video series that just starts from the beginning, walks you through everything. So what we're doing here is we're looking at the Webull app on PC. Now keep in mind, I trade most of the time on my phone, utilizing my phone. However, I know a lot of people like to use the computer. Either or works, in my opinion. But as far as the app itself, there's a few things you're going to want to do on the Webull side of things. And if you're not using Webull, that's fine. It's not required, but it is recommended just for some of the features that it does offer. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do is on the left-hand side on a PC, you'll see your little menu here: paper trading, account, customize, screener, market, stocks, and watch list. I'm only ever on the stocks tab here because what I do is first set up your widgets. Now widgets are up here at the top. I'm going to go ahead and remove them all. And anytime you want to get rid of something, right click it and then you'll be able to remove it. Because it does come set up default with a lot of stuff on the screen. You'll just have to go like this. Anything with the hash mark like that, you can just remove it. Anything like this. And you start with a fresh screen. Let's go ahead and get everything off so we can start from the beginning here. So the widgets that I like to have, starting from a blank slate here, just like this. First, I like to get, obviously, the chart. You want a chart widget. Once you pick the widget you want, simply drag it and put it right here. And then it will create your little tab section here. So we have a chart. What else do we want? Options, obviously. So we add in option widget. Options, and we put the options right here. What else? We want calendar, right? I think that's going to be in, not quote, maybe chart or trade, rather. And if you can't find it, you can always search for us. Let's just search for calendar. And perfect, we are in the calendar. So calendar is under market. So add widget for calendar. I like to put the calendar in between chart and options, and you can rearrange these simply by just dragging like this. And on your phone, it's always going to be set up the same, so this is something you don't have to worry about on your phone. On your phone, it's actually very, very straightforward. You're going to want to enable real-time options from Oprah. Not Oprah Winfrey, but Oprah, the options provider. It's real-time quote data, which is a must-have. You cannot trade options without real-time quotes. And if you're logged into your phone, you'll be able to see it here at the bottom. I'm demonstrating on PC. See right here, mine says the quotes are displayed by 15 minutes. Click here to subscribe to real-time quotes. That's what you're going to need to do if you're using Webull. And if you haven't done this yet, this is a must. So it's $2.99 a month, I believe. But on the phone, it is free. So I would highly recommend using it on the phone. I don't trade with this on my PC. I just use the PC for charting and finding plays and things like that. But if you're one of those people that has to utilize PC, and if you have level 2, just stop paying for level 2 and pay for this. It's way, way better. It's $2.99 a month. So anyways, totally optional to pay for it on PC. Comes free on the phone. And you can find it in the same area on your phone in the options tab. So once we get options quotes set up and make sure they're real time, then we're going to want to make sure we set up our options layout here correctly. Now, what do I mean by that? This is the default setup right here, the way we just added it. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go up here to the top left, and we're going to click on this little option items area right here. And this is also done the same way on the phone. You go to your options menu and you see a little 3 hash marks. Click that to select what you want to see as far as metrics on your options chain. Now what I like to do, basically I like to keep the default setup here, and I'll remove, or I won't remove, but I'll add obviously volume to this because it doesn't come with volume on default, so you want to make sure you have volume on there. And then once we have volume on, then what I want to do is rearrange this entire setup here. Number one, the first thing I do unless I'm selling options, which you can create another widget for selling, right? So if you wanted to have this one here as your selling options and this one is your buying options, you'd have to remember one would need to have the ask, in sight, and one would have to have the bid in sight. Because again, when you're selling options, you don't want to sell at the bid, you want to sell at the ask. And when you're buying options, you don't want to buy at the ask, you want to buy at the bid. So let's just go ahead and do one for now, just the standard setup. So again, ask, I like to just move it all the way on the end, and then go ahead and, if you can, I think you can push it out of sight by doing this, I believe. Yeah, cool. So it's no longer in sight. So now I never have to worry about paying a premium for an options contract. Now, we're going to go ahead and remove last. I don't think it's relevant to have it. So take that off of there. And I like to have the bid right here, percent change behind that. I like to have implied volatility right there. And then I like to put the mid behind the bid. So the bid the bid behind the mid. Yeah, so the mid is our ask and the bid is our mid, basically. Never pay higher than the mid. Delta and theta, I like to keep on the outside. It's not really important to look at it too much. There are times when it's relevant to look at delta, theta, but most of the time in our core strategy, it's not relevant. So, open interest and volume, I like to have right front and center. Just like this. So you can quickly do a quick analysis of support left-hand side, resistance left-hand side, support right-hand side, because left-hand side or call side acts as resistance in the open interest, and put side acts as support in the open interest. So you can quickly gauge support versus resistance, then you got your volume right next to it, and then you have your IV right next to that, and then you have your mid, and then your bid, and then the change. And everything behind that really is not used. So that way, now you're set up optimally, and make sure you have it set to both. And then one more thing. See how this says 6 right here for strikes? We want to click this arrow and make sure that all strikes are visible. So that way we see everything. Now this is a monthly options chain, so this was all of the options, but for something like SPY, if we were to look at SPY, and we had it set to 6, we're only going to get the 6 strikes, which is not enough. That's not enough to go on. So make sure that it's set to all so you can see everything. And just to reiterate, anything blue shaded is in the money. Anything not blue shaded is out of the money. So this is your out of the money put section here. This is your out of the money call section here. And this is your in the money put section here. And this is your in the money call section here. If you don't see the blue shaded area on the price, that means it's not in the money. That means basically think of the blue shaded area as your shield against theta. So just keep that in mind. So that's your option setup. That's basically what you would want to do as far as your widgets, just a chart, calendar, and options. And make sure you have non-standard selected as well as all 3 regular, weeklies, and quarterlies. And that takes care of the options chain. Last thing you're going to want to do is go back to the chart and set up your indicators. So this is your default layout. The way I like to do it is, first of all, right-click the chart, go to chart settings, and this is very important. Go to show candles gap and select it to 5. We always want to see the most possible gaps that we can. We also want to check show extended hours. Everything else you can basically keep as is. I personally like to take off the grid lines because I don't like them. So I take them off, and now our chart settings are all set up as far as a display standpoint. Now, last thing we do, go up here to the indicators, click it, turn off the MA, turn on the RSI, and you're done. That's it. This is your perfect setup. We always want to stay on the daily when identifying play opportunities. Look for those broken RSIs, which is right here. And broken RSI right there, every time it's above this line, it's broken to the upside. Every time it's below this line on the bottom, it's broken to the downside. And that's basically all there is to it, to setting up your Webull brokerage account. And you can do this in a similar fashion with whatever broker you like. I just don't know if a lot of brokers out there chart gaps automatically like this. But anyways, that's the setup.